Sinister is one of the few films I saw as an adult that managed to really rustle my jimmies, leaving me second-guessing the shadows in my own house. This is entirely due to the series of spooky home movies that the protagonist uncovers, their imagery of gruesome family tragedies lingering in the mind years after viewing. In this video, I will rank these cursed clips on a scale from not bothered mate to send shivers to my bagoolies. So grab the popcorn and your Ethan Hawke approved whiskey, and let's chow down on America's scariest home videos. Beginning with the least scariest home movie in Sinister, the only one I would categorise under not bothered mate, is the final reel of the movie, house painting. Now that's not to say I dislike house painting, because it works in the context of the movie's climax, but it simply is not the one keeping me up at night. By this point in the film, the villain Bagool, his MO, the missing children aspect, and all the mysteries really, have been sufficiently explained. As all horror fans know, the more familiar the threat, the less frightening it is. So, house painting didn't really stand a chance in this particular battle. The ghost kids also make sense for the story, but likewise, I never really found them to be scary themselves at any point, except perhaps for the photographic reveal of their scrabbling hands much earlier. That said, I appreciate the dark irony of the paintings on the wall. Throughout the film, the young daughter is repeatedly warned that she could only paint on her bedroom walls, but not the rest of the house. And now, with her family reasonably chopped up, she's free to unleash her creative side, with their blood no less.
Me?
Next up, I'm going with barbecue. As only the second reel featured in the movie, barbecue still benefits from all the unresolved threads in the narrative. A family is seen having a nice time before we cut to their garage. The family is trapped inside their car, doused in petrol, before a lighter is tossed into the vehicle. Yeah, I'd be downing my drink too. The power of this scene, for me, comes 100% from the soundtrack. I don't even know how to describe it, beyond calling it pure evil. It's like the audio was licensed from Satan's personal record collection. You could splice this soundscape over even the most innocent footage, and render it terrifying. I cannot rank barbecue any higher than this though, as visually, it's less intimidating or striking as the ones that precede and follow it, but we'll get around to explaining those properly soon. In fourth position, I nominate Sleepy Time, the first one on this list to officially leave me thoroughly spooked. Sleepy Time follows the perpetrator through a residence at night, eventually entering the bedrooms and calmly slicing the throats of each and every bound family member. Yeah, I'd be downing my drink too. I'm fond of this one due to its simplicity. There is no happy family preamble. There aren't any elaborate set pieces like barbecue, pool party, or even family hanging out. It is basic, and if you're trying to put fear in your audience's hearts and bladders, basic is often better than complex. The victims being systematically murdered in this relatively realistic manner is haunting on a relatable level. The soundtrack echoes that of barbecues as well, so that helps elevate the suspense. I can understand why others might rank this one lower, due to it being less quote-unquote interesting. Horror fans would have seen this kind of thing before, many times, and therefore might be potentially less affected by it. The stalking nature of Halloween's famous opening springs instantly to mind, especially given the eventual reveal of both perpetrators. Still, it gives me the willies. Into the top 3 now, and my next choice is Pool Party. Incidentally, Pool Party is also the third clip shown in the film, and by this point, you're familiar with the gist of the structure. We begin with happy times as a family splashes in their swimming pool and chill on the chairs beside it. An abrupt edit shifts us into nighttime, and the chairs are transformed from a slice of leisure into instruments of death. Drowning is an awful way to go at the best of times, and this is no less grim. The little feet struggling above the water is deeply uncomfortable, yet at the same time, as I said, you feel like you're getting used to the structure, and therefore less perturbed. What perfect timing then for the filmmakers to suddenly throw the first sustained glimpse of this supernatural entity, adding a memorable full stop on the scene, raising the stakes for everything that comes next. On first viewing, this really caught me off guard, and seemed to lower the temperature in my room by at least 10 degrees. Several subsequent viewings later, I'm not as disturbed by Bagul's rejected member of KISS appearance, but still, I have fond memories of those original crazy, 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 crazy nights. In second place, it is Family Hanging Out. What a way to start a film. In fact, I may go so far in saying it's easily one of the most distinctive opening scenes of 21st century horror. 4 members of a family have their heads covered by sacks, execution style, and are tied to a tree. An unseen force slowly cuts the connected branch and lifts the kin to their long, painful demises. Yeah, I'd be downing my drink too. It is short, it is simple, but it certainly is not sweet. As the opening of the movie, with only that crackling soundtrack brewing underneath, it sets up the tone perfectly. The scene is repeated in an extended fashion a short while later, once the protagonist discovers the reels for himself. It is just as harrowing the second time, as it is now soiled with the happy family footage for the first and most effective time that Sinister utilised that technique. Of course, the house and garden where this tragedy occurred is where our heroes now live, so the hanging tree and this scene loom heavy over the entire film, never quite letting this initial horror exit our minds. Now, that was quite high praise for Family Hanging Out, so what could possibly be scarier? The answer is The Lawnmower Man! No, the answer is lawn work. This scene truly sent shivers to my bagoolies. You can argue that Family Hanging Out is superior, as it is based on chilly tension, and all of the reasons I listed before, whereas lawn work is little more than a jump scare. But honestly, what a goddamn jump scare it is! There are certain surprise moments in horror films that catch you out, and you'll never forget the moment it first did so. For me, and I know for so many others as well, lawn work is absolutely one of those moments. The unseen camera operator starts the lawnmower and rushes across the grass. The soundtrack is oddly still, given the frantic camera work and what would be a very noisy machine. Just a low rumble and then BOOM! The victims appear right in the mower's trajectory. Bonus points for the reaction shot as well. His reactions to the other reels were quietly haunted, clearly affecting him, but he remains somewhat measured. But here, Ethan Hawke completely embodies the audience and flies out of his seat. Naturally, the shock is more muted on multiple viewings, but each time I watch the film, I still dread the scene's arrival due to that first horrifying experience. And once this scene concludes, I know I can relax. The peak of the scares have passed. Over to you guys. Do you agree with my choices and reasonings? And let me know if you'd like me to rank the equivalent scary scenes in Sinister 2. If I had to guess, everyone's answer to that would be a hearty and resounding no.